Hey, what's going on? So today I wanted to do a dedicated video to The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Give my thoughts on it. I also want to immediately address, in this video title or whatever, I mentioned that there's a controversy or something similar to that. And I do want to tackle that first, but to just give you a quick synopsis, this video is going to be a balance of me being pretty excited for this game and just sort of talking over like little nitpicks that I have, as well as some crazy opinions that people on the internet have, as well as the cool things that I saw on the internet too. So first of all, there are some people that are complaining about this game, and let's go over those reasons. The first one is the graphical style. So this game, obviously, if you don't know, how do you not know, is using the graphical style from the Link's Awakening remake. And to kind of go off on that, on my own opinion, it's fine. I actually, as an original title, I think it's an okay aesthetic, and it's got its charm to it. I would say that. Could it be a better graphical style? Yeah, I mean, like, it could be. I will say this, that when it was first announced that Link's Awakening's remake would have this graphical style, I was very much not a fan. The big reason for that was that it was taking an aesthetic that was done by force on the Game Boy and translating it into an aesthetic that's by choice. And I didn't appreciate that. So many years have passed, and I wanted to see the world of what is it, Koholint Island? Is that how you pronounce it? I probably said that wrong. I've never put too much thought into it. But anyways, point is that I wanted to see that world come alive, and with like the graphical fidelity that we see with modern Zelda games. But that's not the game we got. I've come to accept that now. But the big thing here is that now that we have this original title, is it okay to go back to this particular style? And I say, yeah, I think so. Some people disagree, apparently. You see it on Twitter and stuff like that. But for the most part, I just want to say this too. The like to dislike ratio on the Nintendo's channel's trailer was fine. Like, it seemed overwhelmingly positive. So if this is a bit of a surprise to you that people are complaining about this to any degree, that's probably why you're surprised, because there's a lot more people that seem to be enjoying this trailer for good reason. The one thing that I thought was a bit strange, though, for me personally, is the gameplay in the trailer. So yeah, I like the idea of copying objects and then using them for combat or puzzle solving, but like, as far as how that all worked, to me, like, I don't know if it was just like poor decision making as far as what clips to use, but the world seemed kind of barren. Like, I guarantee the game is not going to be barren, and there are some examples here and there where you see an NPC off to the side, or a small cluster of enemies for like a fraction of a second. But for the most part, when they would focus and like actually let a clip like breathe for a second, there was like nothing going on in the world. It was like just showing Zelda scale like a cliffside and stuff like that. So I thought that was a bit strange, and I think that's more of a criticism towards the trailer than what we're going to see with the final game. There was a sizzle reel that came a little bit later that had like all sorts of different scenarios that looks great, like with her using the bird and flying around with that, and I guess maybe copying a NPC character and using his kung fu to attack people. I don't know if that was just a story sequence or if Zelda's actually going to utilize NPCs as well for combat. It's hard to say, but I do think that this gameplay has a lot of potential. I do think that maybe the gameplay in the trailer was not the best example of it, and so there are lots of people that see the potential, and there was a lot of people that were put off by the fact that it doesn't look like they picked the peak moments in the game to sort of, better example how this gameplay is going to be shoulder to shoulder with traditional Zelda gameplay. And here's one thing that I readily admit, it's a nitpick. Can we do this as like a hobbyist perspective and not a like, you should not pick up this game because I have this nitpick perspective? I just want to talk about this because, again, want to say it one more time. Not saying this as a reason that I am picking up the game, and this is not going to be something that's going to make me hate the game or whatever, but I hate the sidekick character. I already hate the design of the character. I've seen that Arlo loves this character. It's Tri is the name of the character. The cool thing is that like the Triforce pieces are tailing behind Tri, Although I kind of question that too. Is it just a representation of the Triforce, or is that actually the Triforce? Did the Triforce just lose its identity because like characters can just walk around with Triforce pieces? I don't know. But like Tri in particular, I hate the weird, like, it's like an eye, but then there's a line attached to its mouth. Like, I think that looks really like just unesthetically pleasing. I don't know. And then also just the fact that Tri looks like so many other little sidekick characters we've seen a million times before. Although it's not a sidekick character, like one of the greatest examples would be like the glow Pikmin from Pikmin 4, where it's got like one oblong eye and like one regular eye, and it glows, and it's got like a, you know, a greenish yellow hue. Like, why are we seeing this so much? For me, in particular, when I saw Tri's design, it reminded me of the time, I forget what they're called, but the little time robot creatures from Skyward Sword. Some other people mentioned that it looks like Chingling from Pokemon. Some people said it looks like the Coco from Sonic Frontiers, which, again, aside from color, yeah, I can kind of see that. I just wish it was like a traditional Zelda fairy. I know that's generic, but like, it would make me feel more like, oh, Zelda, you know, the Legend of Zelda. Whereas this just feels like, cool, another one of the many characters I just illustrated for you. This is the stupidest nitpick of all time. Please don't take this too seriously, but Tri glows. His entire body glows, yet he casts shadows? Shouldn't he be emitting his own light? Stupid. Trust me, like, that's not something that I'm like really hung up on, but it's just something I noticed. Also, if we're gonna have fun with nitpicks here, I just want to mention that there's this one line in the trailer where the announcer says, "Now that Link is gone, the fate of the kingdom is in Zelda's hands." And I thought that was so freaking funny, because shouldn't it always be in Zelda's hands, because she's the princess of Hyrule? She's royalty. She rules over the entire kingdom. Shouldn't it have always been in her hands and Link is helping her out? I know, like, it's just such a throwaway line, but like, I just thought that was really freaking funny. And the last thing I want to mention too is a sensitive topic for some people. There's definitely some folks that have said that this game is woke, and I know there's a lot of people that probably in my audience that also hate the term woke on both sides. I like to use the term differently. I have seen examples of like protest behavior in media, and I'm a little annoyed by that. That being said, though, I feel that The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is not an example of this. I think that Zelda has always kind of been a character that would have been great in a role of her own where she is the main character. I think it's just honestly long overdue. This is something that I feel like needed to exist during the GameCube era and continue throughout up to this point. So the fact that we finally have a game where Zelda's the main character just feels like something that had needed to happen for so long. So I don't think that this is an example of injecting something just for the sake of pandering to people. I think this is an example of a character that people really genuinely appreciate and love, and have kind of always wanted to see her in a leading role. And so it's more so like this is a decision made on a creative level, and that's something that I appreciate. And that's why, like, when I look at something like this, I don't get that vibe at all. I think that this is like a game that makes a ton of sense. So that's where I fall on this discussion. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody. I know it's a sensitive topic, but it's something that a lot of people are talking about, and I kind of look at it and I go, no, I don't think that this is what you think it is. I think that, like, it's something that honestly, like, I've wanted for years. So yeah, anyways, as far as what I generally think about this game that's coming out, I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. It's Zelda at the end of the day, so, you know, whatever they decide to do with it, it's probably going to be a good time. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a bad time to me, just based off of what I've seen from the trailer. I feel like I'm really going to enjoy this game, unless, like, the incredibly small concerns I have do actually come to fruition, which is that the game world is completely barren, which I doubt it. I think that it's going to be a real story-based adventure, and I think I'm going to have a good time with it. I think, like, the one other thing that people are kind of worried or concerned about is that we're going back to the Link to the Past Hyrule. Is there a lot of evidence to kind of suggest that? I mean, like, yes, there was the image that shows you, like, oh, that's where, you know, the kingdom would be in A Link to the Past, and that's where, like, a cave would be that was surrounded by water in A Link to the Past. But as far as the actual map goes, is it one-to-one? Are we seeing, like, gameplay footage that kind of proves, like, oh, this is the exact same layout as somewhere in A Link to the Past, because I don't really see it. Tell me if I'm wrong on that front, but for me, like, nothing screamed out A Link to the Past when you're looking at each individual screen that they showed for the trailer. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think that, like, they might be borrowing elements from A Link to the Past as far as, like, where the general layout of things are, but I think that if we play the map itself, it's still going to be its own unique world. That's the takeaway I got from it. So there you go. There's my thoughts on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I think it's going to be generally fun. I think that the aesthetic is fine. I think that Tri needs to go into a dumpster. But other than that, I think it's going to be an amazing time for me. I think I'm going to be really excited to play it when it finally comes out. All right, well, anyways, thanks for listening throughout my thoughts. Hopefully, you know, even if you didn't agree with everything, you know, you appreciated the video for what it is, and I hope you have a good time. All right, take care.